Welcome, Clint.
Thank you, Bruce. Thanks for having me.
How are you enjoying the U.S.?
It's a dream come true.
Okay.
It's a fairy tale. It's a ticking of the bucket list. I grew up on American music. I grew up on songs that were written about what it's like to travel from town to town in America. And growing up in South Africa, I've been an entertainer for 31 years. And it's always been a big dream to come to the US and to be able to perform here. And I've been so very blessed to be able to tick that off my bucket list. So I was here in April.
In April?
Didn't expect to be back again so soon. And man, it's fabulous. I'm very blessed and very happy at the moment.
Okay. And how long have you been here this time?
I was here for 3 weeks.
Okay.
We spent a couple of nights in Nashville in Tennessee. I went to see the sights there. Nashville is where I come from. Nashville is one of the big towns to see in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
It was also a bucket list place to visit. We went to Houston to perform for a very big South African event. There's a form of cooking in South Africa that uses a very big pot and a fire, and it's called a potjie.
Right.
And the expat South Africans in Houston had a potjie competition that I was invited to perform at with a fellow South African performer by the name of Guppy. The two of us do a two-man show, and we spent 3 nights in Houston having a completely and utterly South African experience in the United States of America. Can you believe?
Wow. So, for the guys in the United States that have never heard you before,
Yes.
tell us about your music and maybe what your genre is.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I grew up on rock and roll. I grew up on Creedence Clearwater Revival, Bob Seger, Jackson Browne. I grew up on a lot of folk music as well. Bob
Right.
Dylan, John Denver, Cat Stevens, those kind of artists. I've been involved in a rock band for the past 15 years. We started out as the Creedence Clearwater Revival tribute show. I'm a big fan of bands, U2, Joe Cocker, that kind of stuff. I got that kind of a voice,
Right.
a strong rock voice. And as I've gotten older and gotten a little wiser, and I've gotten a little bit more used to being in the skin and knowing who I am, and I've wanted to be a little bit more purposeful about the music that I make and the way I entertain. And I love entertainment that is inspired entertainment.
Right.
I grew up on songs that made me think about me, my life, the world we live in, the world as it is, and how can change be made, how can I contribute, how can I be purposeful. So at this stage of my life, I write songs that are about big experiences that I've had, that hopefully people can relate to, that hopefully they can tap their feet to it, but then also get a message out of it as well.
Right.
That's the kind of music that I really enjoy. So it's like folk rock with a bit of a conscience.
You know, most of the people I've talked to that are in the entertainment business, they have pain or pleasure and they write about it.
Yes.
So somewhere in their past, they've experienced some of this stuff, and it hits them deep, and they express themselves through music.
I love that. That's what it's all about. For me, there's 2 kinds of songs. The first kind is when, as you explained, an artist is moved by something that's happened to him or her, an experience that they've had, and that emotion within them wells up, overflows and becomes a piece of music. That is an authentic piece of music, and in that authentic piece of music there lies healing. As opposed to the way the mainstream industry is moving, which is this whole manufactured kind of song where they take a good looking person with the right producer and the right beats per minute, and they construct a song that is designed for the market. That doesn't turn me on much at all. I don't believe that magical healing thing is not as prominent in the manufactured kind of music. So I love the authentic music and try my very best to be as authentic as possible, because that's how people can relate. I mean, if you've had your heart broken before and I write a song about heartbreak, you will be able to relate to it. If I write a song about inspiration, about something that happened to me that changed my life and made me think about the world differently, there is something that you can take from that. As opposed to, nothing wrong with a great dance track, great to shake your bum, of course, but I want to take it a step further.
Right. Out of everything that you've written and sang and performed before. What's the one that is deepest?
Wow, that's a good one. There's a couple. My mom was my first spiritual teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She passed 21 years ago from cancer, and she faced that final. She faced her finality with such dignity and poise. It was a great test of faith, and I wrote a song called "A Test of Faith." So that, I think, is one of my best works. I've been very blessed to perform in Monaco, in the south of France. I was invited by the royal family to perform in the palace itself for the princess and the prince. And the princess and I are both born in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe. Bulawayo is a small town in Africa. And I wrote a song called My Bulawayo Princess, and I was able to perform it for her in the palace, which was
very nice.
One of the highlights of my career. And the whole story behind it is that Her Serene Highness and myself were both born in the same hospital in the same town.
Wow.
And the chorus is, there's a small town in Africa, it's a place that breeds the best, and we should know, being herself and myself, because we were both born there, my Bulawayo Princess. So I'm very proud of that one as well, and I got 19 albums in between all of that, so
Wow.
love songwriting.
Very good. Your inspiration, were your parents musicians?
No. My dad was a farmer, my mom was a florist.
Okay.
But they both had great spiritual connection. They both believed in purpose and the reason why we are here, and that life should express that. So from a young age, I learned that, and I had a mom and dad the way a mom and dad are supposed to be. So I had lots of love, and everything in life has purpose. If you connect with it, you'll get so much more out of it than being disconnected. So my music is very connected. So I don't, whether I write great songs or not is up to other people to decide, but I do write real songs.
Right. Was there ever a time when you put it down?
Not once.
Very good.
31 years. I was at a university in South Africa. I was studying, let's see if I can remember, I was studying clinical psychology. I wasn't attending any lectures because I was playing 5 nights a week in little bars and student hangouts, and decided I wanted to do it full time, and I have done nothing else since. And 30 odd years later, I still feel like I've just begun. It's my great passion. I'm at home on stage. I love to entertain. I want to make impact, and I still feel fabulously connected, passionately connected to what it is that I do.
Okay. Over the 31 years, what was your favorite experience out there, or your favorite place you played?
In South Africa, there are 2 venues. The one is called the Bushman Cave Mountain Theatre, which is it's in the Tankwa Karoo, which is kind of desert, but it's this massive 6-7 story mountain with a stage at its feet.
Wow.
Overlooking this incredible plain that when I stood on, I've performed there a couple of times, when I stood on that stage for the first time, that cliche of having your breath taken away, my breath was literally taken away. So I've performed there a couple of times, and the other one is the Paul Kluwer Amphitheatre, which is an outdoor amphitheatre in a cypress forest at the foot of a mountain, surrounded by an apple orchard, which is also Mom Nature at her absolute best, showing off. So those are 2 fabulous venues that I've played at. South Africa is a wonderful place. Great beauty, wonderful place to visit and to see.
Yeah, I saw your DVD on your travels.
Yes.
And looks like you got some sponsors.
I do. I'm a very proud brand ambassador for Yamaha Motorcycle South Africa and Yamaha Music South Africa. I have a 1200 Super Tenere that they give me to use. I am very passionately connected to motorcycling, especially adventure biking. So is Bruce. He loves 2 wheels as well. And I've always said that my motorcycle is my therapist.
Absolutely.
When the noises in my head get too loud, I get on my bike on the open road, and it has a way of decompressing and
Right.
bringing me back down to earth.
So you went to school for clinical psychology, and you found out all you needed was a motorcycle.
Absolutely. Guitar and a motorcycle, and I'm a happy man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Family?
Family, I have 3 fabulous daughters.
Wow.
I've never been married, but I have 3 beautiful daughters.
Right.
And it's a little tough.
God bless you.
It's a little tough when a guy arrives on a motorcycle with
Right.
earrings and tattoos
Right.
to ask one of my kids out.
Wow.
But they've been a huge blessing, a huge blessing for me. I fly back tonight. I can't wait to see them tomorrow.
Okay. So what's next?
What's next? To go home and let all the experience that's happened to me over the couple of weeks incubate, and to make plans about coming again. There is something about this country as an artist, the way the audience embraces and listens, that has taken it to another level for me. Not that I don't experience that in South Africa, but the United States is on another level. So I'm very in love with America and looking forward to coming back again. And but the moment I land in a couple of days' time, it's home for one night and then pack the bus. And I've got a gig in Botswana, 2 gigs in Johannesburg. So straight back to the grindstone to make a living the moment I get back.
Absolutely. So if you could describe America in just a few words, being from another country, I think sometimes we take for granted some of the liberties that we have here, and some of the passions that we have here. And sometimes you can't see the forest or the trees. So tell me in a few words.
The first thing that strikes me is the wide open spaces. Mm-hmm. South Africa's the size of Texas.
Right.
So America is huge. And one of the things that had big impact on me, in Nashville, there is a main street that has, on a Monday night, more bands playing on that one street than there are bands playing on a Saturday night in the whole of South Africa.
Right.
And I experienced that in Nashville, in New Orleans, or New Orleans, and in Key West, on Duval Street in Key West. Here is the street that just has live entertainment, great live entertainment, from one venue to the next venue to the next venue to the next venue. And we don't... I saw a band this last Monday night that had a brass section that gave me goosebumps. We don't have budgets and facilities for brass sections for bands, very rarely in South Africa. So, because everything you do here in America is big.
Right.
It's much bigger. Your vehicles, your everything is much bigger here.
Right.
Even your dandruff is like cornflakes.
That's right. There you go.
And so the size, the immensity, the awe, I've been tuned in with my jaw agape many times. Fabulous to be here.
And this brass section, I have a feeling I know who they are.
Ricky Sylvia's band, the Buzzcocks.
Oh my God, they're awesome, aren't
Oh man, blew me away. I was so privileged to be able to be present at a memorial evening for Tony Mannis, who's a keyboard player of note, and he passed recently. And Marilise, who I'm staying with, my manager here in the States, she owns Sentinel Records, who I'm signed with. She said, we're going to a memorial this evening. There'll be some musicians there. Please come with. And I didn't think about it much. And it was such a fabulous tribute to obviously a wonderful guy. And I literally watched 8-9 bands in a row with unbelievable talent take the stage to pay tribute to one of their friends. And the Buzzcats was one of the bands
Unbelievable.
that I saw.
Unbelievable. I've been blown away by them for years. So, very successful band. Got to ask this question. If you had the ability to bring one person back and sit down and talk with them, and it doesn't have to be a musician.
Oh, it would be my mama. Without
Okay.
a doubt, it would be my mama.
Right.
She's gone 21 years. She was a class act and a huge inspiration.
Did she get a chance to see you sing?
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes, she did. She loved the fact, which was such an awesome thing. She loved the fact that her boys, because both of her sons are involved in music, that her boys chose the creative arts to express themselves.
Yeah, she was a florist, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So she was artistic. So.
Very artistic, very talented
Awesome.
lady.
How about a musician? Or a band?
A musician. I would love to sit with John Fogerty from Creedence, because his music has made my life make sense. It got me out of the bars and the clubs into supper theatres, paying tribute to Creedence. And we were never a tribute band. We were a band that loved Creedence and performed Creedence our own way, within our own abilities. And it seemed to be, I mean, I've done over 600 Creedence tribute shows.
Wow.
And so I would love to just sit with John and shake his hand and humbly say, thank you, sir, for helping make my life make sense. And then my biggest musical influence growing up was John Denver. And John Denver was a phenomenal acoustic guitarist and a lyricist of note. He wrote songs about life-changing events, about what he believed in. He had a passionate connection to Mother Earth and how we must look after her. He also he wanted to end world hunger. We live on a planet that makes enough food to feed all of us. It is unfathomable that people are starving.
Right.
And he put a great initiative together to try and stop world hunger. So I always respected him and loved his music. So he would be somebody I'd love to sit with. Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
What a voice.
Yeah.
And I've performed Joe Cocker songs for years, so I would love to sit with him. Bruce, it could be quite an endless list.
Oh, I know.